So with Yusuf Awiyan, we're here next to the Great Pyramid, and this is where we find obvious examples of very sophisticated ancient technology. Because here, if you look really carefully, you see these vertical lines going down along the stone. Now there's scratches too, but there seems to be quite a pattern to it. As if, could this be actually a saw? Now this material is basalt, which is very hard. It's not from the local area. And so a culture with bronze chisels couldn't, or bronze saws, even with some kind of silica sand as an abrasive, could not produce that kind of fine finish as far as I can tell. I'll show you other examples here in this little area by itself of examples of machining technology at work. Not modern machines, not dynastic Egyptian machines, but older machining technology by the Cometians. Now that, for example, you can see that's the end of where there was a saw cut of some kind, and this piece broke off. The diameter of that saw blade seems to be about 1/8 of an inch, and it's not a straight cut. We'll show that in other videos. What it is, it's a curved cut. So that could be evidence of a giant circular saw. And here, these are the cuts themselves. Again, somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch in diameter, going straight through 1, 2, 3 of them.
Through the unfinished pieces especially. But they are aware of this mark. They are aware of this mark. It's not new to them, but they just like to ignore it. So everything else will fit with the story that they created. The sewer system was made to get rid.
And this is the base of the Great Pyramid. And what you see is here, the bottom level here, how the bottom level fits in with the bedrock. It's a mortar-free construction. They flattened the plateau in order to build the pyramid on top of it. So again, here's the original external casing stone of the Great Pyramid. And look how tight the fit of that stone is. And another puzzling thing, as Yusuf Awiyan, who's there, pointed out, is the amount of erosion of some of this stone, which was, what the main pyramid is made out of, this limestone. The extent of erosion is quite astonishing. So how long would it have taken for that erosion to have taken place. You need a geologist such as Dr. Robert Schoch to discuss that. But would it have taken 1,000 years or 5,000 years? Certainly not in hundreds of years, because this is desert. It's unlikely that it was sand being blown by the wind to erode it to this extent. The Sphinx is known to have been eroded by water, possibly up to 8,000 or 10,000 years ago. So could that mean that this pyramid, the Great Pyramid, and possibly this one, the second pyramid as well, are contemporary? That they pre-existed the dynastic pharaonic cultures of Egypt? That's what we're trying to find out.
The most powerful resonance.
Mm-hmm. What most people also don't realize is the fact that on the Giza Plateau you have the Great Pyramid and the second pyramid, and of course the smaller third pyramid. But off on this side, which is the east side, you have all of these little baby ones like this kind of size. And here you can see the casing stone is still on the exterior. There are about 30 of these. The casing stone is original, and also there are these shafts that go down. I can see the bottom. It's at least 30 or 40 feet, filled with sand, and then there's a chamber going off to the left. And this one as well. It's deeper, with chambers going off at what is now the bottom. So really, you don't build shafts for burying people. If the shafts are there, you could use them for burying people. Here's the shaft in the center of one of these baby ones. But it makes more sense that the shaft system, the tunnel system, was part of a giant water network that literally ran and still runs under the Giza Plateau. They in fact have massive pumps right near the front entrance of the Giza Plateau, and they're constantly pumping water out of it to this very day. That's another shaft. So it makes this whole area far more mysterious and interesting than the conventional explanation. And we've just been told we can go into Meres Ankh, the third tomb, which is a mastaba. So we're actually under the surface of the Giza Plateau. The Giza Plateau being famous for the three great pyramids, and what Yusuf Awiyan is showing me is a series of layers of tunnels and shafts that have incredible resonance. The confusing thing to most people is that they think that the dynastic Egyptians built everything, but we're seeing definite evidence that a previous culture that was technologically more advanced than the dynastic Egyptians were able to carve things like these shafts, some of them going down at minimum 100 feet straight down, and then there are horizontal tunnels. Later on, the dynastic Egyptians came and used some of these as places of burial, but we see the obvious transformation because we see hieroglyphics and that sort of thing that the dynastic Egyptians used, but the Cometians were prior to the dynastic Egyptians, and they didn't actually require the use of hieroglyphics. It's something similar that we see in Peru in the oldest and most advanced cultures. You don't see art. You see form and function. You see beautiful surfaces, incredible technological achievement, but you don't see artistry and drawings and paintings, or even the need to put writing on the walls. It was either an oral tradition or even more advanced than that. It may have been that the initiates were in fact telepathic, and that the knowledge you wouldn't bother carving somewhere. It would simply be passed from one who had the knowledge to one who was of the level to use the knowledge, not for the general public. Simply amazing. So it's not just what's on the Giza Plateau, as in the Menkaure Pyramid in the background, and these outcrops of limestone that have been shaped and were once cased in limestone, but it's what's under Giza which is as yet not understood well whatsoever. It's the series of caves and tunnels that go in. We've just literally scratched the surface of. Okay.
Okay. The same case. We're on the bottom of a well. And it's leading to a chamber.